What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So one of the things I haven't done in a while is I haven't gone over to Twitter or haven't even looked at Blue Sky just to show you guys what's going on when it comes to the Social Security Fairness Act. And so we're going to take a look at that today. And so we'll just go over and see what they're talking about. Right now, we're kind of at a slowdown period where we're not hearing much news. We know that it could take a year or more before they completely, totally implement the Social Security Fairness Act or the elimination of weapon GPOs. So the fact that people are going to be waiting, they could be waiting a year or more to receive the increased benefits as well as the retroactive payments. And so because it's slow right now, I want to take a look at Twitter. I want to take a look at Blue Sky. What are people talking about? So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video. And if you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go right over and let's look at, let's look at Twitter first. So we'll take a look at Twitter. And I don't really get on Twitter that much anymore, but it is good to kind of come on here to see. And Twitter right now, you just have more people talking on Twitter. Blue Sky is good, but Blue Sky, you don't have as many people talking on Blue Sky. So usually what people will do is they'll post something on Twitter, and then they'll go over to Blue Sky, and they'll post on Blue Sky as well. Okay, so looking here, this is Elizabeth Wallace. I'm not familiar with her, but anyway, she put all the fireworks, signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law. That was January 5th. We all know about that. We were all watching. Congressman Gabe Amo. So he is basically, let's see what he says, amidst attacks on public employees. I was grateful to celebrate the Social Security Fairness Act. So he's writing this now. This was just 10 hours ago, okay? And today, 2/3, so I'll probably post this tomorrow, but I mean, he's putting this out there like it just happened when realistically it happened last month, almost a month ago that it was passed. And what we need Congress to start pushing the Social Security Administration to get this going and get it implemented. So let's see if there's anything else on here. And looking at Senator Jack Reed, he just posted this about 7 hours ago. And it says, join RI teachers, firefighters, public servants, and labor leaders to push the Trump administration on swift implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act. And this is what we need to see happen. We need to see Congress people out there pushing the White House, pushing the Social Security Administration to get this done. And it's going to not just take just Congress people doing it on their own. It's also going to take us. We're going to have to get out. We're going to have to say, contact our Congress people. Send them letters, however you want to do it. Let them know, look, this is a priority that needs to get done. And I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. My fear is that we have a reconciliation bill that they're working on right now. Okay, Congress is working on a reconciliation bill. Basically, the reason why they're moving with the reconciliation bill is they just need a majority of the votes in the Senate. They don't need the 60 votes. That's why they're looking at reconciliation. In the House, it's a majority anyway. So if they get the majority, they can pass something in the House. But when it comes to the Senate, you need that supermajority. You need 60 votes. So you need Democrats basically to come on board in order to pass legislation unless you do it through reconciliation. My only fear is that you're going to have some Congress people did not vote for the Social Security Fairness Act. You had about 70, I think it was like 75 in the House, and then in the Senate, it was about 20 in the Senate. But some of those Congress people might try to put something together, a GPO, a weapon GPO replacement. And it might not be, and I always say this, weapon GPO light, where it's not as drastic of a cut, but it's still a cut to your benefits, still a reduction. And so that is my fear. They might try to slip that in there, and no one's really watching, no one's really paying attention, and before you know it, they pass this reconciliation bill in the House and the Senate, the president signs off on it, and then we find out, oh, guess what? The weapon GPO is back, it's back in play, and there's a reduced benefits, but it doesn't reduce it by 50%, and only reduces it by 25%. Or it doesn't reduce it by 2/3. The GPO doesn't reduce by 2/3, but it's a little less, maybe 1/3. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that is my fear. My fear is that we might actually see some type of legislation being pushed through Congress. And if we don't pay attention, and that's why I'm here, because I will be paying attention to this reconciliation bill, what's in the reconciliation bill, because it's going to be probably over 1,000 pages. And so we're going to need to find out, when it comes to Social Security, are we going to see any changes? And if we see some changes to Social Security, one of those changes could be a modification of weapon GPO. So we're going to have to keep our eyes out for that. Okay, so here's something that's pretty interesting that's posted here. And it says, please consider moving some IRS agents to the Social Security Administration. They are stating they cannot implement the bipartisan Social Security Fairness Act for over a year due to lack of staff and a hiring freeze. And then it says, would be a great redistribution of federal employees. So interesting. Now, I don't know, taking IRS agents at this time, and we're in tax season, so I don't know if that would be a smart move, but maybe some of the other agencies, maybe we could take from some of the other agencies. I say we, but the Social Security Administration would be able to at least borrow some staff from different agencies. But yes, the fact that we have a hiring freeze, they're going to have to address that. Congress has to address that when it comes to Social Security. Now, there's certain agencies that hiring freeze might be okay, but when we're looking at the Social Security Administration, the fact that they've already indicated they're short-staffed, and we know this, they've been short-staffed for years, so this is no surprise, but now you're giving them more tasks, more things that they need to do, and they have a short time frame, or at least they're trying to get this done in a reasonable amount of time, but now they're saying it could be over a year, which in my mind, that's not reasonable, and so they need more staff, but the only way you get more staff is through Congress. Congress is actually going to have to they're going to have to provide money so they can hire more people. And so this is not going to change. I mean, when it comes down to the staffing issues that they're having, it's not going to change unless Congress actually moves forward. And one of the issues when it comes to the Social Security Fairness Act, I think it's great. I'm glad they passed it, but they didn't give any direction. So Congress didn't give any direction. No rules on the Social Security Fairness Act. All it was is eliminate weapon GPO. Give it to the Social Security Administration, go ahead and take care of this. But there's nothing behind, there's nothing else behind that. Usually when we're looking at these different bills, there's funding that goes with the bill. But we didn't see that here. And part of the reason is probably because it was a discharge petition, which basically you had some members in the House that put together a petition, they got the majority signatures, and they were able to force it onto the floor of the House and pass it. And they didn't have to go through committee. You go through committee, you're going to talk to some different experts. They're going to have their hearings, talk to different experts, and they're going to say, okay, we're probably going to need this, we're probably going to need that, we're going to need about this much money, and then we're going to need staffing at around these numbers and all that. So all that information would come out, and then Congress can put a bill together that will have the funding to do that. But we didn't see that. And so this is where we are right now. So the only real option at this point, if we're looking at a hiring freeze, the only real option is to take from different agencies and maybe kind of move people around. So you move people from one agency over to Social Security just to help out, and then they can move into some different areas, go back to their agency or go to some other agencies until we get to a point where we can start staffing the federal government. And right now they want to do the reverse. They're not talking about hiring more staff. They're talking about eliminating the staff that are here. And that's why we saw the White House trying to push for people to resign. They can resign by February 6th and still receive their paycheck for another 7 months. That's why they're doing this. They're trying to entice people to go ahead and resign, and they want to reduce the federal workforce, not increase it. But in my opinion, that could be very dangerous, because that will mean if we see a lot of people resigning by February 6th, then guess what? That means some of them are going to be in the Social Security Administration. They're going to be resigning. You'll have even less staff at the Social Security Administration, which means the complete implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act, now they're saying it could be over a year. It could be even longer if we see more and more staff resigning. So something to keep our eye out on. I want to know what you guys think about all this, so let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.